from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria.
The hustle is real, but with hard work, you can become successful. And be your own king. Your wins are worth celebrating with Chelsea London Dry Gin. Chelsea London Dry Gin now comes in a non-refillable bottle with guala cap. Chelsea London Dry Gin. Right spirit, right feeling.
If you're just joining us, we've been having this conversation with this amazing couple. Remember, I have Mr. and Mrs. Ezekiel joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. And we also have here Mr. and Mrs. Victor Tom. And they've been breaking down some intricacies about newlyweds, and I have heard the most amazing germs. They have been dropping wisdom like everywhere. You know what that is? And we promise that we're going to continue this conversation. That's why we're here. Now, there's also some other twists that we're going to talk about. Divorce rates. Why? Young people under 2 years of marriage, under 3 years, everybody's packing their boxes and going back to daddy's house. What's happening? These are more other conversations we'll be having this evening live on Spectrum Television. One way for you to be a part of a family live show is to follow us across all social media platforms, all of which you can find at spectrumtv.ng. Now, we've introduced a new twist. One question every week. A new question will be coming to you on Twitter. Something new, something to talk about, something to drive the conversation. And this week, definitely, we'll be hearing your thoughts on divorce. So make sure that you're following us on Twitter at SpectrumTOnline, so that when we drop the question, you can actually give us the conversation. And on our next episode, we'll definitely take your tweet. How does that sound? Of course, I know it sounds good. All right. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. V. Tatal. How you doing?
Oh, fine. Thank you.
Hi. I'm literally high on having on being Mr. Tam.
Yeah, we're fine. Always fine. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, great. Mr. and Mrs. Ezekiel, let's say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that feels like 21st century couples. We are always high. Like I'm on the way joining you people sometime in Jesus' name, but I know that we are always high. How is marriage? How is it on that end today?
Very fine. It's good.
So I'd like to ask, what's the newest thing you've done in recent times to add spice to your marriage? From the last time we talked till now. You played what? Video games last night?
What did you do?
Oh, okay, so that's a way to spice up this matter.
Yeah.
I see. What y'all do of recent? What new introduction?
Introduction.
what do you add to your
You don't need to hear, but on a lighter note, we play Ludo. And then I know that said his name is Victor, but I've told him that now my name is Victor.
I win a lot.
But I like the fact that it seems they've been adding other things, but they said they can't share what they've been adding. So they now use Ludo to cover it. I know that those of us that are adults, we get
Yes.
Right. Well done to the things you're adding. I think I saw something here that I want to share, just as a twist. Things, because we're also talking about the fact that why are couples breaking up more often than not. And then I saw this list of things we can do as couples to spice up, our relationship.
Yeah.
And let me see. Now, they said things we can do together while sitting on the couch without pressing our phones. Let me ask which one you people have done of recent. Talk about the high and lows from your day. Read a book together. Start a creative project together. Which of that have you people done in recent time? Let me start with you. Talk when you sit together on a couch instead of pressing your phones. They say talk about the highs and lows from your day.
That's definitely us. Talk about the highs and the lows of the day.
Definitely you. Yeah. Okay. Read a book together. Mr. and Mrs. Ezekiel, Read a book together. How long ago did you read a book together?
How long more?
How long ago did you read a book together?
Not necessarily a book, a devotional.
Okay, you do your devotionals together. Okay, do you sit and talk on the couch without pressing your phones? You just sit, both of you, on the couch and talk to each other and not pressing your phones?
Not necessarily on the couch, but we can lie on the floor.
Yeah, just anything that does not have to do with you pressing your phones anyway.
I feel like for 21st century couples, like, it's something that has to be intentionally like done. It doesn't just happen spontaneously that you guys don't like press your phone, because sometimes we bond over like, I'm lying down, you're lying down, my leg, your body, and we're scrolling through Twitter and sending each other tweets. So if we now decide that we shouldn't like press our phones and talk about something in our real life, then I feel that it's something that's going to be intentionally done. So if there's someone that is probably watching this and is find couples like you and your spouse like pressing phone while you guys are on the couch and like scrolling through Twitter, if you desire like conversation, then you be like, okay, let's drop our phones, let's talk about something real. So for me, I just find that dropping phone needs to be like intentional. It doesn't like always come naturally.
I like the twist that you gave to it. So sometimes it's not just that we are pressing our phones. We can be on Twitter and Instagram sending ourselves links and memes and all of that, and it can also be a way to bond us. So instead of pressing phones to be a divisive line, we can also look for a way to walk it down. You guys are starting with that thing again. I like it. Okay, so they also said, do you have a creative project that you're doing together? Any creative project? I know that you are a blogger. I know that PSI is into tech, and I know that you are bloggers also and writers. So what creative projects are you doing together?
Okay, talking about animation and graphics design, that's actually one of the projects that is topmost on our list. And
As a couple?
Yeah, since I love doing that, of course I had to drag him in. And
I like writing scripts, so she's trying to drag me into an animation while I write the script. We'll do that together. I'll just take it further.
Ooh, yeah. I love my couple on the people. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Decker, are you on any creative projects right now?
I said her course module had to do like my field, like cybersecurity. One of our courses that she was doing like some weeks back. So it was a way for us to like put it together and me put my knowledge and her putting her knowledge for her and everything. Yeah, also I'm like lab rat when creating content. I'm always there, holding the camera, being the person that puts in the video and all what's not. So all of them are creative projects. Also, we can always talk about evangelizing, meeting people and getting them to see our field. All of them are creative projects.
I like that, and I can absolutely relate with having a spouse that is a content creator. You are always going to be the first muse. They use you for anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Honey, I think this photo is fine. Let's try it. Help me.
That's
with
it,
the
exactly.
Mrs.
Exactly.
Spencer, that absolutely has to be you. And I'm sure your husband likes background, but you like the front of the camera like us.
Yeah.
All right. So something else. Paint or draw something that represents love. I know Oyibos are the ones that really do these things. But it's coming into Nigeria now. I know I've seen some people share pictures of centers even here in Akwa Ibom where you can just go sit down and paint together. I'll draw half hearts, we draw half hearts, we bring it together. It's our heart.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that that's something that's available.
That's creative.
That's good. And that's animation for you. Right, okay. So they say bake something together. Have you baked? Or even look, so we can substitute bake and cook.
Talking about cooking together. That is the best part that I enjoy so much in this marriage. We cook together, and of course he does most of the cooking.
Oh God.
Voila.
Yeah, I'm the chief cook. I love cooking so much.
Oh my God.
I love the kitchen.
I'm living in my time and day.
So sometimes she comes back very late. I'm at times tired, and no matter how tired I am, I just love the kitchen. You know, I've done that for years and quite a number of times. So I just love cooking. Sometimes I just look at her and I would like, has she forgotten that she's supposed to cook or something? So I'll go to the room and go and say, wouldn't you cook? She said, I'm sorry, okay, I'm coming. Whereas I've finished everything. I just love that.
I'm married to the man that some people want to marry.
And one thing again is that I vowed not to allow any woman think that she's a slave, or she comes with the burden to come and wash clothes and just cook. That's what she has come to do. So I go with the scripture that says a woman is a help meet, comes to meet your help, which means as a man you should be doing something first. You should be able to cook even before you get married. As a man, you should love the kitchen and you should love to wash your own clothes. You should be able to do so many things. And the woman is just coming to help, to meet and to assist you to do what you've been doing as a single man. And that has been my way of life, and I think she's enjoying that part.
I will pin that on YouTube and I'll pin that on Instagram. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Zeka, let's get to you. What do you do? Cook, bake together. What's that other, home chore that brings you together?
We are learning to cook together now. I told my husband when we got married that one of the blessings, one of the best things that can happen to a woman is to have a husband that can. And I'm not being funny. I'm just saying it out there to a new man that is listening and thinking that because you have money, you can hire a chef or something that it will replace the. I don't know. There's this particular emotion that wells when you just see your husband being very hands-on in the kitchen and just being able to do things. So that's like a different kind of sexy. So yeah, we cook together. I'm teaching my husband how to cook, and he's coming around to learn it. Hopefully, with years of experience, and we are not a rush. I believe God that in 2, 3, 5 years, I'll be like Sister Udo. I'll be kicking, and
I think
let me just say that none of us loves cooking. Yeah, nobody likes cooking.
But we must eat.
And
even worse abroad, because you can't go to Kilimanjaro or Crunchies and just keep buying food. So the country that God has put us in, you must cook. If not, hunger will finish.
Oh, hunger will wire you. So just stay with us. When we return from this break, Connect continues.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily. Exclusive on Spectrum Television.
And I'll just head up, straight to the way I like to put in my UK couple. I think it's important. I think the crux of this is the bond between the couple whilst they are doing this together. So it might not even be that he got the afang soup off the table, but he helped with washing water leaf, helped with the onion, helped with this and that while one person put it all together. I think it's the bond behind it. But I do agree with you that a man who cooks is an extra dose of blessing. I agree. And you're blessed. I believe God that blessing comments. That blessing comments. But Mr. Isaac, we need to appreciate you for taking that journey. It's honorable. Because we have some guys that will say, what are you saying? It's your duty as a wife. You got to cook. Don't bring me in on this. And if you are not careful also, it's possible to have brought a rift, between you as a couple. Your wife will feel like, oh, you don't want to meet me halfway, and you feel like, why are you forcing me to learn how to cook? So I think that's a great example for all of us. Okay, something else. Dream about how you want your life to look like in 5 years. Dreaming together. Let's start from the UK. Dreaming together. How has that been for you?
So my husband is literally thinking of this vivid imagination. So vivid imagination. So we literally always dream about like how the next 5 years is going to be and what are the conscious steps. So we don't just dream, but we take conscious steps to walk towards 5 years, how the next year is going to be. You already know that I'm like a vision board, like enthusiast, and what's my vision board really all about like life in the next 5 years, what life is going to look like. So we actually like talk about it, make those plans. And today, while I was in the kitchen, I was just my husband because something was trending on Twitter, and I don't want to go into that. But it was like some of the things that we put out on social media. 5 years later, some of us will look at that and be like, that's not me. So even that we put out, the interviews that we grant, everything like sums up about the next 5 years, who we want to be as a couple, who I want to be as a person, and obviously what we want our family to stand for in the next 5 years. So every couple should do that. Vivid imagination is something that every couple.
So every couple should dream together. What's your dream like? What's your dreaming together like? Because I know as individuals, I have a dream, you have a dream, but now we are a couple. How can we learn to dream together? How's that for you?
Actually, initially, I used to think it's all about you, your career, moving on, and then now you're married, though it's like alien in a way, but to move forward, you must come together, have the same dream, the same vision. I think that's what we are basically trying to work on, bringing it to bear. Like she talked about vision board, trying to see how we can put those things that we've been talking about to achieving together, both as couple and then as a family generally, what we need to do between now and the next 5 years. So we've been trying to bring that to making the picture clear by bringing from our imagination and putting it there on that board, so that from time to time you look forward and then appraise yourself on how far you've gone.
Write the vision, make it clear, so that when even our children see, they can run with it. I think it's also something that it's a way of leaving a heritage for the next generation. Yeah. Woo, I'm loving this. Okay, so something else. I think it's closely related. Create a common goal and work towards it little by little every day. So I think we've already covered that part in the last. Now, just like what we are doing right now, they say use conversation cards to spark new conversations. Now, we might have been talking about a myriad of things, but we've been bringing out lessons by using this e-card to create conversations. So just like Precious had said earlier, sometimes you see something on the internet, a thread on Twitter or on Instagram, and you're like, hey, whatever you call your husband, my darling, my sugar, they say stop calling. Let me throw a joke I saw recently. So I read something on the internet. Now that's how we can keep conversations going in our home. And they said, stop calling your spouse sugar, baby. Those things are cheap. They're inexpensive. Call them things like fuel, diesel, subsidy, and the likes. They are more expensive commodities to call your spouse. So talking about finding threads on the internet, then we pick it up and try to create a conversation. Oh, I saw this on the internet. What do you think? What's your perspective? Then again, a balance of being careful. Now, small thing they make us cara. So, Mr. and Mrs. Zeko, how's that for you? Because you're internet savvy couples. How do you navigate that?
It's just like it's something that we do before we got married. We like send ourselves tweets, quotes, then from there it just starts conversation. It never ends. Sometimes funny videos, holiday videos, teaching videos. like that. Something we do like before we got married. So it's more like okay, make have an alternate something you see a view that probably supports what you are saying, and you just join this. Like that's what I was trying to say. Comment like that. Sometimes you think society like this, you met. It's just come out, just go there.
And I also want to add that couples can. You're not the first person to get married. I still say you're not the first person to get married. They are worthy couples, worthy of emulation. So you might as well like emulate what they do, and it might not work 100 to your marriage, but it will leave a long-lasting debt on your marriage. So, for example, there's like you said, conversation starters. There are couples that are very good in documenting like the journey of their marriage. So to see how far God has brought them is something worthy of emulation. Don't put yourself under pressure because you're seeing what these people are doing. But just know that your own marriage is spectacular. So what I do is like say something to my husband, I feel like that's going to be us in 5 years. That's going to be in 10 years. That's going to be us in 15 years. Look at how far they've come. I'm not putting pressure with a couple that have been married for 10 years and stuff. So people, you need the Holy Spirit and the discernment to be able to acknowledge where you are in your marriage and where you are going to, because internet is a lot of people. The internet has broken marriage. Yes, we're going to talk about divorce because it's the internet that is making you think that Mrs. Ezeko and Mr. Ezeko look prim and proper every day. You never know that they also have their own differences. So while people are sharing things, conversation starters and all of that from the internet, one thing I learned as someone that is very heavily invested in the internet is to remind myself that some of the things that you see are scripted, they are pre-planned, they are edited. Someone has watched that video 10 times before deciding to post it, so there's no need to pressure you.
To be careful with what we are upping and running with.
Definitely.
This is so good. This is so good. And I think there's something else that Mrs. Ezeko just pointed out. But before we skip to that, let's handle the two last ones. How many of us do this? I know not very many of us like to work out, but which of you couples are working out together? Who's exercising together? who's doing it? Yeah, workout routines.
We do.
You do. I like the sound of that.
Well, I think it's something that is worth emulating. But okay, I may not be able to go at length, based on what he's doing. But at least with the boys, we try our best. We try to use the 7 app. There's an app called 7th. So we use that to train ourselves with the basics. We work out together with the boys, but of course I can't go and myself.
Those things are just too easy for me. So
and I think the bottom line in all of this is the bond that is creating, even as a family. You're getting a better bond with the boys because you're sustaining a workout routine with them. Amazing. So last one, even as we are all Christians, but representing all kinds of faith. Now they're saying as a couple, for us to bond together, meditate together, whether it's in the morning or whether it's in the night, devotional, pray together, meditate on the thought, marinate it in your spirit. Great one. But let's push our conversation further. Something Mrs. Ezeko just talked about, recognizing the season that your marriage is in. Okay. I think that is going to lead us as a prelude into the conversation about divorce. Because a lot of times people do not know the seasons that they are in marriage. You currently just faced a brick wall and you thought that is a cue to leave, instead of finding a way to walk around the brick wall and get into the next season. So if I'll start with you, Mrs. Ezeko, what do you think are those measures that can help us discern and know the seasons that we are in a marriage? For the likes of Gary Chapman was saying, marriages have morning seasons, afternoon seasons, and night seasons. So how do we recognize where we are per time and know what to expect of those seasons and how to handle them?
Okay, so for me, the best way to recognize that you are is through prayer. I'm a Christian, I'm a believer in God, and one of the ways that I recognize where I am right now, because the world can tell different things. The world will make you feel like you're supposed to be breaking records. She said applauding something that broke record. But prayer and consistency in the place of prayer is something that I don't know anyone that knows, but the Holy Spirit literally tells you the truth. He tells you the unfiltered. He reminds you of where you are. So prayer is very important. Then the second thing is being true to yourself. You know where you are. For example, as a person, I know where I was before I got married. Some people plan to get married, like they've been with the person for like 5 years. They have been putting funds together. They plan to get their first house together and everything. But I know that with me and my spouse, we literally met and got married by faith. So I will be expecting some sort of prime and properness in the first like 2 years of our marriage. But I'll be realizing that this is our indeed building time. So you need to be true to yourself. Because if you're not true to yourself, you'll be living in like a mirage or something.
Yeah, so you know that thing like man. So if you don't, people will tell you social media like what you're living in, right? A lot of projections, and probably what to expect, what you should do, what you should be doing. But the crux of the matter is that you should know where you are personally. It cuts across all aspects of the life, spiritual aspect, financial, mental, emotional, all around. You just know where you are and the level you guys are. Then from there, you now plan how everything is going to be, and from there you can now make choices for your life. So if it happens that say spiritually, woman is probably higher, let me say like more spiritual husband, then you guys know that okay, my best needs to catch up. If you know that okay, the mental part, man is more mental to do some things, woman, you know that okay, person is going to catch up. Now nobody is delaying anybody. Because when you guys get to marry, you guys are doing journey together. The journey will be together, regardless who is father or who is father. You guys have to go together. Nobody is being delayed. It's just that you have to wait for each other to catch up and going. Then also there's a phase where everyone needs to extend grace to each other. Like, oh, I know that you're not there yet, and I'm here. But I'm ready to be patient for you to get where I am, even as I am moving, going slow and steady. We extend the grace. Because if you don't extend grace, it's going to be unnecessary anger when not you saying, oh, I thought you were this, I thought you were that. So you now see that the expectations or the projections that are coming out from external bodies now weighing on your page. Instead of you guys to be together and be shading off all projections, you are now way on the map, which is not good. It's very important that you guys know yourself, be true to yourself, know where you are, know where you are going, and plan the work that you are going to get to where you want to get.
Thank you for Marriage School 101. Because if I would summarize everything he just said, marriage is a constant play of catch-up between the couple. One person at one point or the other is always going to be ahead. But the willingness to recognize that we are a party, we are together. Yes, I have the grace and the patience to wait for you to come. When you overtake me, we do it. Oh my God, that was so good. I'm going to send you sweets. That was so good. That was so good. Okay, recognizing seasons. Okay. You know, in marriage. What are your thoughts about it? Because, like I said earlier, we just get there and then we're like, I'm done. Why will you be this slow as a woman? When I met you and married you, I thought you were smart. I thought you wanted to be a career woman. 2 years down the line, she said she'll start home and say puff. You know.
I like talking about this a lot. Truly, like she said, the building season, I call it the morning season. Now, marriage is to me, can be referred to something that is just birth. Now, you cannot just give birth to a child now and expect the child to do what a 5-year-old child is doing. And that has been the mistake of so many ladies or men. Our expectations matters a lot. So people go into marriage with lots of expectations, and the first month, second month, they want to start seeing all those things, especially if they have friends. Like he said, when you have friends that have been married for 5 years, and you go to hear your friend, the wife of somebody, say, this is what my wife is doing, forgetting that they also began by, they gave birth to them, they crawl, they tried to crawl to a table, to hold the table to stand, and before they could talk, so many things before they had it, all the processes are what can be compared to marriage also. Now, immediately you get married, you should know that this is a new season. This is a new thing. It is something that I've just been giving birth to. So we should learn how to grow, the crawling, the holding the table to stand, the learning how to walk, the teeth, everything, learning how to chew, how to eat, and everything. So, like I do say also, foundation matters a lot. What were your expectations? When you thought about this marriage, what did you even know? So it's the starting, I call it the morning season. The building season, like she said, you guys are to build together. You guys are to look at yourself and say, now we are into this together. We grow together. We move together. Taking cognizance of my own marriage, I knew, like I said, foundation. I knew she was this career person. She wanted to, she's also choleric. So I was prepared for
with your
everything.
Very sanguine
I was so prepared. So I entered into it. So when she brings it on, I tend to remind her, say, calm down. This is not how it's supposed to be. And in this marriage, we are going together. I think yesterday we still had that in you. I say I would have put on my clothes and go out for business. But I want you to know that before you go out for work, we have to settle this. So she tried to argue how she believed and everything. I said, no, this is how it's supposed to be. So one person would always definitely, should I say, know more than another. Because we have different experiences about life. She never really got into men things and all those things. And me, I have, our sanguine nature and everything. I'm alive. I grew up in Lagos and all those lifestyle and everything. So I was prepared to say, I will carry my wife along. And the morning session, which is also the building time, we must build together. It's a together thing. So it baffles me a lot where couples just get into marriage 1 month, 2 months, and I started shouting, and before you know, I want out.
Why are you outing to?
It is funny. So I think foundation also and our expectations has a lot of role to play in the seasons of marriage.
Expectations have a lot to play in the seasons of marriage. And I think something that people have established right now is the fact that we can be in a 2-year-old marriage having an expectation of a 20-year-old marriage in our 2-year-old marriage. So you see those oldies who hold their hands and they have walked their tough times together. So just stay with us. When we return from this break, Connect continues.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian.
From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security,
education, health,
lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Aniaken
every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth,
detail and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
And I'll just head up, straight to tough times bring people together or tear them apart, depending on how you handle them. Great. Do you have something you want to say about this season?
This seasonal thing is unique to each and every one. So you need to understand your person first, and then understand your spouse. As a married couple, understand your spouse. And what am I saying? When you are trying to emulate or copy people who are, maybe they are married up to they've been married for 30-something years, and just getting married 1, 2, 3 years, and you are thinking, when there was something my husband said yesterday, you have to come up very fast. And I've not been married before, for God's sake. So I don't have that idea. But if the person is teachable and is willing to learn, and then also
the person is also being manner of teaching is also important.
Absolutely. So if you know that at this point, this is the season, like she said something, this is the season that people are in, and you're trying to build it together, of course you will not need to look at others as your yardstick to determine what is happening in your home. You know that at this point, this is the first we are, despite what you see, whether on social media, offline, online, anywhere you find it, you must know that this is the time that we are here now. After now, we'll move to the next phase of our life. But while we are here, let's try to see how we can grow together, how to carry each other along. And then the way of communicating it in that season, because if you misfire in that season now, you, for instance, maybe you are the type that is already ahead of your spouse, and then you are trying to bring this one to where you are competing with yourself so that people can make it through that phase, and then the way you are communicating it is kind of weird, or not taking cognizance of the fact that this person is different from you and wasn't brought up by your parents, or was not given birth to your this person was not brought to this world by your parents. So you need to also understand how you communicate in the season that people are in, so that your message can be passed across very well. If not, there will be a lot of problem, and there will be tension in the home.
In season communication, the language that we have per season is determining if we are going to come out whole or if we are going to break through that season. This is crystal good. Okay, I was having a conversation with someone, and they said, prior to marriage, let everyone read their riot act before they get in. Something you were just saying now also brought that vivid picture back to me. Before we, sign the dotted lines in marriage, we sat down as people who are in courtship to create a vision for our marriage. Because I think every marriage at some point gets boring, even friendships. If we have a vision board for our marriage that we can go back to and say, this is the goal for this marriage, this is the vision for this marriage, and every time the spark is waning down, we go back and revisit the board, then it will help us sustain. It's easy to look for the back door out when there was really nothing that was keeping us together beyond romance or beyond, having a ring on our finger. But read the riot act before you get married. So the person was saying, for instance, you know that being a career woman always brings a lot of problems. We career women are part of the problem. Because men to marry career women and driven women are not for you. But it feels like we do not have a lot of men. You're about to marry a career woman.
I'm married a career woman. I want to be going for an event where my wife will be speaking, and I'm in the crowd. That's my wife. That's my wife.
Exactly.
I'm carrying a bag and I'm carrying her everywhere. I want that kind of thing. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, but PSI, you realize that we do not have a lot of men that have the backbone for this. Some people cave under the weight of an influential spouse, especially that of the wife. So I was speaking to someone and she said, read your riot act before you get married. If you know you have big dreams as a man or a woman now, tell your wife, this is what I hope to be. This is who I want to be. These are my dreams. And if you get in the way of this, and this, that is where we'll have a problem. So that the person already sees ahead that, I don't think I'll be comfortable with having an itinerary career woman or itinerary minister as a wife. I won't be comfortable with my spouse leaving the children and traveling because they want to do one thing or the other. If you're not comfortable, the time to stop it is before the wedding, not in the marriage. Because when we get into the marriage, that's when you now hear that people are divorced. So what are your thoughts about Riot Act?
I think Riot Act is, we all have it. You have, everyone has.
That's what I can take and what I cannot take.
Yes, yes. Now, I want you to know that coming together in marriage, we need too many undoings, doings, adjustment, and not adjustment, which happens to be what causes problems in marriage and ends in divorce many times. And no matter how you discuss about it, if you must be ready as a man or as a woman that anything that wants to make me marry this particular woman, a particular woman, or anyone, because we all have what we cannot take and what we can take. Now, the knowledge of getting into marriage to know that this is another woman and this is another man, I will have to adjust a little bit. Because when we are rigid about our Riot Act, you are rigid, want to say this is it, this is it. Maybe you have to go and meet God to create your own husband or your own wife differently from those that are existing. Because as long as you are married or you want to get married, you will meet a man that you love and you want to end up with. And no matter if you table 10 out in your list, your husband might say, your husband might say, this number 8, oh, don't you think you can adjust it this way? And as long as this world is concerned, life is concerned, human being is concerned, you should know that there's time to learn and unlearn and try to say, okay, somebody else said we do this because of love. I've heard that before.
Healthy compromises.
Yes. Because you are right. So kind of, okay, let me just, because of this. And you see the both of you, that's why I don't like people that are selfish. In your thoughts, you shouldn't be selfish, you shouldn't be rigid as the man. I'm the man, I say this was 10 lists, whether I like it or not, you must adjust all. That is not how it will be. If she pretends to agree in marriage, you will have issues upon issues. Yet, I advise people as a man or as a woman, there is always season to learn and not learn, or to say, okay, because of you or because of this, I need to adjust. Like I told my wife yesterday, just know that I will never lead you astray, and she trusts me.
It's like I will never lead you astray to new language in relationship.
Okay, you heard that.
You don't say you'll be Holy Spirit.
No, I said, if I'm saying this, you just have to adjust it small. And she said, okay, what do you want me to do in this aspect? And I said, okay, this is how I'm thinking it should be. I didn't impose it on her.
Yeah.
That's one thing some men do.
Suggestive communication.
Yes, you just suggest it and say, can't you see it this way? And when any lady or any man is trying to now be rigid and say, that is when issues start happening.
So give your spouse the honor of making the choice himself.
In this home, he talks alone, he decides alone, or she decides alone. I'm also human, and we are also married. I think I am supposed to give decisions and this. So I try to tell her, why don't look at it this way? Approach this issue this way. It will work out.
Great wisdom. Let's hear from you, Mr. and Mrs. Ezeko. Because the amount of wisdom that is coming here now, you people, I'll soon write models out of everything you're saying. So yes, we are talking about handling all of this season and phasing it out. Riot Act. Did you read the Riot Act? I will not take this. I know when in my university, in my final year, I had a friend who said her mom had told her husband that the day you raise your hand at me will be the end of our marriage. At the time, they had been married for over 20 years. Wow. And somewhere around the season of her graduation, whatever under heaven made her husband raise his hand at her, she did leave the marriage because she had said she wasn't going to take it. And we are talking of a couple that were like vision board couple. You know,
yes.
I'm telling you, these were couples that we admired while we were in school. And her Riot Act Sir broke it. She left. Because she said, I had told you at the beginning. So do you think this can make or mar? What's the balance with this Riot Act thing and where divorces are concerned?
So, for me, I have always lived my life based on Christian. And before I got I already decided that there's nothing that was going to happen making me say I'll end the marriage. It's just to end the marriage. Because the worst case is and even as a believer, there's no enough to give it. So I had said that there was nothing that will make me say the day this thing happened, marriage ended. Because I've always believed that marriage is forever.
Yeah.
The only thing that you can do before the marriage, don't marry. Once you are in it, and as a Christian, I'm talking as a person that is a Christian in Christ, there is nothing is enough to end the marriage.
It's like we're also looking at violence. We are looking at physical.
I'll come there. Violence. Carry your bag and go to your father's house. Tell your family to come and talk to your husband and let them separate. Nothing is enough to end the marriage. I'm serious. Your life is threatened. Yes. Leave the house. Go away for a while.
Yeah.
Tell your husband to go and see whatever help he needs to sort himself out. Because God did not ordain marriage to be broken. His marriage portrays the love he has for us as children and as salvation. So if marriage is broken, that means all you're trying to say is that salvation too can be broken. So there is nothing enough that can make, I'm speaking like a Christian personally, that will say this marriage, the day you do this thing, marriage is going to end. Because I've done a lot of things with Jesus Christ and he has not told me we are not going to suffer. Do you understand? And I've done the things that I said I was not going to do. The minute I said I was not going to do it. And he still was like, oh, come, I have you, don't worry, I got you covered. So that's the mindset, me as a person, I carry towards my, that nothing is going to happen. Worst case. Say that you are beating me because don't beat somebody. Say that you are beating me. I'll carry myself and go to my father's house.
Yeah.
So that mindset that I have, that no matter what, the moment the period you're supposed to do that for you come. See, my principle for my is very simple: selflessness. And the selflessness is put your partner's feelings first. Let your partner. Both of you know how to process.
Selflessness.
So if I'm selfless towards my partner, so if I put my partner's feelings all the time, my mindset forever for whatever reason, and she puts mine in ours, we are looking out for each other.
Yeah.
Nobody has their own thoughts now, but the other person is looking out for the other person. You guys will always be wanting to please each other and want to make that you guys are always on point. So that's like my people stuff. I don't really have any right now.
Yeah. I'll just add that going into marriage with a Riot Act is actually a little it's scary because your partner, I don't know, married people, your partner will always do something that you thought that they could never do.
Exactly.
So they will always, and the thing about marriage is that your partner knows those things that you have said that if he does, is the end. But there's something in marriage that just always makes people like
want to break the edge.
So if you go in with a plan that if you go in, because I read a book by Morrow, something that I'm reading now, The Power and Purpose of Marriage, and that book, right, it says that godly marriage is very different from worldly marriage. Worldly marriage they even go with an already signed stuff like that. When they divorce, they split the I forgot what it's called. Prenup. Yeah. They split it 50-50. But I don't feel like a godly marriage you can be married with a prenup. Literally, when we were getting married, it's something that it's something that you enter and shut the door.
Yeah.
And so if you are entering with Riot Act, it means that you have plans to live
When you go and get
stuff. So and as human beings, our desires are ever changing. Today, your Riot Act might be my husband beats me, it ends. Tomorrow, your Riot Act might be like if it's asking for 10 times a day, the marriage will end. Next tomorrow, your Riot Act might be that if it's disturbing me when I'm sleeping, the marriage will end. We have different desires. So I just feel like as Christian couples, selflessness and just like finding your way to rigmarole around it. Because I'm not being funny, there are many things that I didn't expect in marriage that I'm seeing now, and I believe that there are many more things that I will see. So if I'm building a castle in my head that this will be the end of the marriage, then I might as well have ended it before I started. So marriage is a big complex. So with God in your marriage. If you have salvation, if you look at salvation and God's love for you, if you copy and paste in your institution, it will help a lot.
Awesome. We've had such great conversation. I think one thing to put here is the fact that if you put where it will end, something will push you closer to that.
You would always see something in marriage.
Something will try to shift it. It's been such a great conversation, Mrs. Yuji. I'll give you like the last 30 seconds to round up your thoughts, because this is absolutely where we are ending this conversation today.
Okay, I just want to reiterate what she said. I think you don't need to be selfish. Selflessness is everything. For us to move forward and for us, if you have expectation, of course, the expectation of the just shall not be cut off. So if you expect that, if this happened in the marriage, I'm going to walk out of the marriage. Like they also said, the devil or whatsoever thing will push you to that point and try to make you to keep to your word. So I think the best thing is to depend on the Holy Spirit, because this marriage, he is the one who instituted the marriage. So he knows how we can, he can help us to cope with it and to navigate when the rough season shows up. I think selflessness is everything we need to do, and then to depend on the Holy Spirit.
I need to say a really big thank you, because I'm going to create a special book, and this particular episode of Connect, I will pin it on Connect's page on YouTube and all of that, because this has been a great conversation. Check your expectation, talk through your expectation. Selflessness is important to navigate the bridge of divorce in marriages. Make sure you talk things through. Mindsets before we enter. It's just been a whole lot. But of course, you can catch up on this conversation on YouTube, of course, Spectrum Television. And we can drive the conversation again on Twitter at Spectrum T Online. But I must say a very big thank you to my guest, Mr. and Mrs. Ezeko, of course, cyber security expert and social media content creator. And she also mentioned that she was into some mental health, awareness journey. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We absolutely appreciate you for sharing your marital journey with us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
A big thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Victor Tom, Mrs. Judy Tom, Mr. Victor Tom. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. I do hope that you had great time of learning on today's episode of Connect. Of course, we will do this again next week. Thank you. My name is Uyai Anieken. Bye-bye.
The hustle is real, but with hard work, you can become successful. And be your own king. Your wins are worth celebrating. celebrating with Chelsea London Dry Gin. Chelsea London Dry Gin now comes in a non-refillable bottle with guala cap. Chelsea London Dry Gin. Right spirit, right feeling.